Today I'll be going over an awesome setup for some insane neural movements and sweeping transitions. Let's get to it. So essentially what's going on is I'm setting this patch of Serum through 3 separate effects that I'm modulating over time. 2 of them are done in Serum effects. It's a comb filter, a reverb filter, and then a super wet reverb. So first things first, the wavetable I'm using is actually ripped from a free preset I found online by AU5. I called it Wobble Waddle. I'll leave a link in the description below so that you can download it for yourself. I turned down the pitch 2 octaves. Normally I do it 3, but for some reason there was some weird changes going on in the phasing depending on which octave I was playing, and this one sounded better. So we're just going to go down 2 and play on an E4. First thing I want is a wider and larger sound. So instead of 1 wave, why not 16? I'm going to take the phase randomization off so they all play at the same time. Now I'm going to tune back the phase overlap by putting the mode on exponential. I don't know what this does exactly, but there you go, wider sound. Now, one of the key ideas behind Neuro-based design is to have many moving parts working together at once. In this patch, we're going to make 3. The first one's going to be a faster LFO. We're going to move this 2 squares over to the right and this about halfway through the second square up. And we're going to have it on 116, put it on trigger, and we're going to use this just to shape the volume of our wobble. Since we're shaping the level right now, why don't we also do that for the sub? And a bit of white noise, just to add some character. 10 should be good. The next movement we're going to be creating is a notch filter that's going to be moving back and forward at its own pace while the level knob of our oscillator is moving. Let's go ahead and create 2 triangles like this. Have this go at 1/2, put it on trigger, and then let's go ahead and move this first one to the left 1 to create a little bit of variation. Then we're going to go ahead and put our filter on notch 24. We're going to turn the resonance down just to get a wider range of frequency affected by the notch. And then we're going to just go ahead and throw the LFO on there and have it go back and forth while the level knob is moving. And then to finish it off for our last movement, we're going to utilize the wavetable position by creating a slow 2-bar LFO on trigger that just rocks the wavetable position back and forth. Now would you look at that? Now what's super cool about this setup is it's very friendly to other wavetables when making cool sounds. Try sending a bunch of different ones through it and see what you can find. For now we're going to stick with Wobble Waddle. You can put some distortion on if you like, or if you like it the way it sounds, you can just tune back a tiny bit of the lower mid-range by putting on a static phaser. It's very subtle, and if you're able to hear the difference, good for you. There is one, and in my opinion it does make a big difference when you're listening in the car. We're going to calm down the higher frequencies and shape them more by putting on a Bandpass filter. Let's go ahead and put it on band 12, and we're going to put LFO 1 on there because it is the main force that is shaping our bass. I have the cutoff on 100 Hz, and LFO 1 moving right about 30. It makes it sound a little darker, and we're going to get a lot of that higher frequency back using an OTT without losing the shape. In fact, we can even do a little bit of EQ right now and kind of sweep through the low end in order to remove some of those lower frequencies, and then also boost a little bit of the high and have that sweep back and forth as well. So we can try and play around with this a little bit. That sounds good. Before we continue, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the artists behind the music playing in today's tutorial. Every year Greyflood is a top contender for my most played band on Spotify, and they just released their beautiful new post-rock album at Ignorasis a couple months ago. They're talented musicians I've been good friends with for a long while now. If you're into chill instrumental music, I recommend checking out the link to their Spotify in the description below. Thanks. So here's where things start to get spicy. Let's throw on our effects. Fortunately, what we got going on here isn't too complicated. I start off just by adding a simple OTT. Everything here is pretty normal. The only thing that I turn down is the depth about 50% just to tune back the intensity a bit, and what this is doing is just brightening the highs a bit and giving a little bit more excitement to the sound. Here's where the series modulation gets in. Remember, the three things that we said we added was a comb filter, a reverb filter, and then a large reverb that encompasses the entire sound. So let's start with the comb filter. So with the comb filter, I actually have this at a static cutoff of 47 Hertz with a resonance of 60% on the minus comb filter in Serum effects. And what I'm automating here is the mix itself for the filter. Now we can add a metallic delayed feel anytime we want to our bass. Let's listen without it and then with it. And then with the comb filter. So in context, with the reverb filter, we have the resonance on 70%, but instead of automating the mix, we're automating the cutoff filter. So let's go ahead and add an automation to the cutoff filter, whether you do that through here or up here, option or tools, last tweak, create automation, however you want to do it. We have a reverb filter here, and what we're using this for is to just create these crazy sweeps and changes in the sound and adding this dynamic frequency to our sound at times. It's really cool. The best way is to just show you an example. Let's listen to this bass real quick without the reverb filter. It's here I made the bass by simply changing the rate down to 1/8 and using a single part of the wavetable position. I simply use this small section right here. So let's go ahead and throw the reverb filter on. And here you can see that just that across the cutoff gave it this crazy sweep that's really cool for transitions. You can just play around and yeah, just get really cool stuff with it. Let's also see how we can create an intense timbre on top of our basses with it. Let's listen to this bass without the reverb filter. And then with the reverb filter with the cutoff slowly moving down. As you can see, you can get some really cool effects out of it that create awesome movement. Then I just did a bit of personal multiband compression, EQ, stuff that just kind of worked out for my song. Now here's the really cool thing is we can just add this really large reverb, remove all of the dry signal, create a ton of wet, and then take out a decent amount of the low. So I'm cutting everything under 3000 Hertz here. And I added maybe like 1.6 seconds of decay. And I've created this reverb that always exists behind our song based off our bass. And then since the dry is gone, what I can do is I can automate the mix. And then over time, reverb can come in and the bass comes out and I can create this dynamic atmosphere out of it and create fills. Now we can combine the comb filter and the reverb to get this cool... Dude, it's just... yeah, it works out. So as always, the sound's going up on my Patreon, which right now has over 100 sounds for Vital and Serum that I've worked on the channel in my videos, on stream, and in songs. If you want to get a good deal, join today for just $3. That's going to do it for today. If you learned something, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you feel like it, feel free to leave a comment below as I read them all and do enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great one. One last thing before you guys go. I've noticed on my channel that the analytics state that most of you actually aren't subscribed. If you guys could go ahead and subscribe, it actually really helped me out as it turns out. Gosh dang. Yo, what's wrong? Oh, yeah, I'm watching this guy and he did the whole analytic thing and now I gotta subscribe to him. What? Yeah, dude, I don't even like him.
You know you don't have to subscribe to him, right?
Wait, really?
Dude, just because he guilts you with some statistic doesn't mean you need to subscribe to him. You should only do that if you actually enjoy his content. In fact, his statistics actually pretty normal.
Huh.
Please subscribe.